Today I'm going to show you guys how to build a complete push workout. I'll go over programming for strength and hypertrophy goals as well as minimalist strategies for those with less time to train. A push day trains the chest, shoulders, and triceps and is usually done twice a week in the push-pull leg split. I've also done push days once a week in an upper-lower push-pull leg split. Before we begin programming, we need to go over what the goal of push days are within a single week. Usually it's to get enough volume to grow the chest, shoulders, and triceps, and if your goals are more strength focused, it may be to increase a bench max, overhead press max, or pushing speed. Now, as we get into the layout of our week, let's understand what movement types are needed to train these muscles. For the chest, a flat press, incline press, and fly variation is all you'll ever need. For the shoulders, I believe that a vertical press and a lateral raise will be sufficient as long as you are regularly pressing. Rear delt work is included in my pull day video, link in description, make sure to check that out after this. And for the triceps, I include a movement with my elbows tucked and one with my elbows more flared to ensure I hit all three heads. The mistake I see in push days most often is by far ridiculous amounts of volume. A lot of people will do all three of these chest movements with 4 or 5 sets each in a single session, which totals 12 to 15 sets of chest in a single workout. This is way too much volume assuming you are training hard. For most beginner intermediate lifters, 12 to 15 sets is the weekly volume target. With this in mind, let's go over how we can properly use our 2 weekly sessions instead of cramming all of our volume into one day. First, let's only do 2 exercises per day for the chest. You can do a flat press and incline press on day 1 with a flat press and fly on day 2. You can do only flat and incline presses with flies. Any combination of these 3 movements can be slotted into 4 spots over the 2 days. I would prioritize both pressing movements because they are probably more important for chest development. Now, laying out push days for hypertrophy is simple. Order the chest, delts, and triceps based on performance, and then lay out the movements according to that list. Keep in mind, chest and shoulder training can overlap quite a bit, and they are also the most taxing push day groups. So I'll start with a vertical or horizontal push followed by chest, delt, and tricep accessories. When laying out these sessions, there are a couple things we can do to make sure we get the most out of these 2 days. First, as we just mentioned, you can split your chest volume into 4 slots over 2 days. Next, you can decide a focus for each push day. Doing your overhead press first one day and your horizontal press first another day will make each day either chest or shoulder focused. You definitely don't have to do this if you really want to grow one over the other, but it can make sure you aren't neglecting any muscle groups. For strength focused individuals, you just want to make sure your bench or overhead press is the session's first movement, and then program accessories that help weak points in your lift. For example, if you get stuck during the lockout of a bench, you're going to want to prioritize heavier tricep movements, and maybe if you get stuck with the bar on the chest, you might want to do some stretch shortening cycle work with dumbbells. If I'm pressed for time, I will usually just do 1 or 2 vertical or horizontal presses and then an accessory based on the first movement, followed by a tricep movement. Say on push 1, I do a dumbbell flat bench first. I could then use a lateral raise for shoulders and then hit triceps. Another example is both a vertical and horizontal press before hitting triceps. Make sure all sets are hard sets, as in this case we are doing less volume. Now, it's finally time to choose some exercises. For pure pushing strength, I believe that barbells and dumbbells will always win. For hypertrophic goals, cables, machines, and dumbbells are better in theory, but try both for yourself and decide which one hits your target muscles better. For strength goals, the barbell, bench, and overhead presses should be staples with incline and dumbbell variations included. Tricep accessories should primarily focus on improving the lockout of your presses. For hypertrophic goals, you may want to prioritize flat, incline, and vertical pressing, along with lateral raise variations and maybe even a chest fly variation. For the triceps, you want to ensure you have a movement with flared elbows and a movement with tucked elbows to ensure you hit all the heads. For hypertrophy, many people will write off the bench press as an optimal horizontal pressing choice due to the bilateral aspect of the movement and the fact that you can get more stretch with dumbbells. And to this, I say 3 things. 1, you can do both. If you barbell bench even just once a week and then dumbbell flat and incline press the rest of the week, you will benefit from tension both because of greater load and greater stretch. 2, there are technical cues that you can use to increase stretch on the bench press more than usual. With a slight arch in your back, imagine you're trying to pull your chest towards the bar while keeping your shoulders on the bench. This will allow you to get into a deeper stretch with the greater load of the barbell. If possible, you can also use a cambered bar to maximize stretch with this great load. And finally, in terms of range of motion, my third point, especially if you use the technical cues we just mentioned, the range of motion is not that different. Ultimately, when it comes to horizontal presses for hypertrophy, I'm not telling you need to barbell bench. In fact, dumbbells are probably better for most people. I'm just saying you cannot choose your movements based on theory alone, as everybody is different and will respond to different stimuli better or worse. With all that being said, press at different angles as you damn please. I would only recommend on the incline bench you stay at around a 15 to 30 degree incline to get more upper chest and less front delt involved in the movement. I lateral raise with both dumbbells and cables, and for triceps I will use dips or close grip decline bench to help my lockout, and for hypertrophy I use a combination of those just mentioned, along with overhead extensions, cross cable extensions, skull crushers, and push downs. Obviously not all at the same time, I pick and choose what I want for different programs. In terms of volume and effort, I typically do 3 or 4 sets for each of the chest, shoulder, and tricep movements, totaling 12 to 15 sets weekly for each group. For strength goals, I will stay in a lower rep range on my first heavy barbell compound before raising it to 10 to 12-ish reps and staying in that zone for hypertrophy. All working sets are hard sets to failure for me, and if you train like this and are sore all the time, lower the amount of sets you do per week. And just like that, you have a beautifully written push day, and now you probably need a beautifully written pull day to go with it, and I will show you how to write one of those in this video right here.